comes a point in almost every one of these things that I do where I don't know what I'm going to say with the movie. And in this case, wow, I really don't know what I'm about to say. And it's not that the movie is particularly inscrutable. You know, it's a pretty straightforward movie. Spooky clown. Boo. I mean, that's the movie. But I like it. I like this movie. I like it, and it's possibly because of the meta. I think I really like this movie, even though it's simple, even though it's flawed. Genuinely, I like this movie because of all the stuff around it, because of the way it was made, because of how it all came together, and genuinely the acting was good, and it's got some jump scares. But the jump scares, man, we got to talk about the jump scares. I'm going to get into it. First, roll the intro. Oh, hey, new intro music from Callum, new music on the outro too, so check them out. Roll it. Here we go. All right, The House on Haunted Grounds. This one is, another haunted clown movie. Now, this is, there's a lot of clown movies out there in the found footage genre. I mean, it's really common. It might as well be another subgenre like mockumentary or Into Woods. But this haunted clown movie, I mean, I'm sure you've seen many, but this one, well, it stood out because it just came out. It just came out, so right away I had to look. But the other thing was it was made by this director, Brendan Rudnicki. And Brendan Rudnicki takes this stuff pretty seriously. This is not his first movie by any means. He's made a lot of found footage movies. And I've even reviewed one in the past. It was The Last Cabin. It was a stalker movie with a bunch of people in Halloween masks who were just stalking a bunch of people in a house. And, it was straightforward. It gave you what was on the tin. And same here. House on Haunted Grounds. We got a couple of paranormal investigators. They go to a house and spookies ensue. You get what you're promised. And it's competently edited. You get an hour and a little bit, done. Nice and efficient. But here's the interesting part. Now, we got every budget level with the spooky clown movies. You get all the way from zero to, a couple million. But this time we're hitting that sweet spot, that $15K budget. And on $15K, it's just enough to hire professional actors, pay them all day rates, pay a professional crew day rates as well, and get it all done in a tight 7 days with renting a house that a location scout can find. But it's just barely enough. It just squeaks it through. And so you don't end up with crazy special effects, and you do end up having to make damn sure you make the distributor happy. The meta around this movie gets pretty interesting. So let's talk about Brendan Rudnicki again, just really briefly. He's producer-director for a ton of movies. He does like a couple a year. And so he's got a routine. He's perfecting his craft. Every time he does a movie, it gets a little bit better. He finds a little way to make things work. And he's just clearly having a hell of a great time. And he's got these good relationships with distributors. But the distributors, they want something specific. They don't want comedy horror. They just want horror. And yeah, found footage, okay, but our audience wants sound effects on the jump scares. It wants soundtrack music, even though in a found footage movie that kind of takes you out of it. And they don't want comedy. Damn, I like comedy. So there's all these demands from the distributor. And well, it's not like he has a lot of choice about it. He has to deliver because this is his money. Where's the money going to come from? He's got to pay these people. He wants to pay everyone properly. He wants to get it done, but it's not like he works for a studio. He's just making art. So this is what we end up with. He ends up having all these constrictions, all these constraints around what he can do. What comes of it? Well, what comes of it is an interesting movie where you end up everybody trapped in a single location, in this case, a rented house. And they built a wall in the basement, so make an interesting set piece, which I won't ruin for you. This is going to be spoiler free. And he just had to fall back on actors that he had relationships with. So you end up with this opening scene.
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Tony, your guide to the paranormal.
And I'm Amy, your navigator through the unknown.
Pretty much right away, you can tell, like, this guy is a bit of a dick, and this person is kind of sensitive. And you can tell because they're damn good actors. You know, they pulled it off. And, you know, that's really critical if you're gonna try to make a movie on a budget this small. But sacrifices have to be made. Apparently there was like a whole final scene that like they just couldn't pull the effects together, so they had to cut it. So everything kind of stops abruptly at the end, and that's kind of jarring. But I don't think we're looking for a lot of depth here. I mean, there's kind of like an attempt at building the myth around Lester, whatever his name was, the serial killer. I don't care about Lester. I get the sense that maybe a ghost possessed him, maybe, but the text of the movie is not very clear. Maybe he was just a psycho killer. I don't know. But also, I don't care. I mean, what I care about is tension and conflict and spooky scenes, and we get all that delivered here. And so I think I'm really entertained in part by the movie itself, but also in part by watching like an artist struggle to juggle all these balls, you know, all these different things that are coming at him all at once, and trying to make something as great as he can. So I think maybe it's time to just sort of break into the big question, the main question, the only question that counts. Should you watch it? If you're a creepy clown found footage fan, you know, it's just over an hour and it's not a bad watch. It's a way to relax and get a few basic cheap jump scares. Some of the jump scares are so on the nose, it's almost ridiculous. Like I ended up laughing at a few jump scares legitimately. I don't think it was intentionally funny. Fuck. But there was more than once where it seemed like the ghost just decided to jump out at the camera on purpose to scare the audience. Like it was just like, boo, okay, ever, you know. But so if you are watching this just sort of like not necessarily to be scared, but just as a piece of entertainment, absolutely works because the editing's tight. He doesn't waste your time. He definitely filmed more. Like he could have made an hour and a half movie if he wanted with what he recorded. It felt like there was more there, and he just cut it down to just over an hour, and it works. It's a piece of entertainment. However, if you're the type of found footage fan that really needs immersion, there's the sacrifice of the audio track. The audio track has boom whenever something scary appears on screen, because you know you're supposed to be cued. Oh, that's scary. In case you didn't notice, right there, that's scary, and that can drive some people nuts. I completely understand that. I'm in the ghost watch camp. You know, if you're gonna have something scary, don't even count on the audience noticing it the first time. Let them subliminally pick up on the fact that something's wrong. And
I never had a cat. Did you?
You know, but yeah, distributors, not fans of subtlety. So there's that. And you know, if you don't like creepy clowns, don't watch this movie. That's like on the poster, man. That's your fault if you watch it. You got, oh, there was a clown in this one? I mean, come on. But if you like this one, I really do strongly encourage you to look at Brendan's back catalog, because he does have some fun and interesting movies that are sort of on the same level. And yeah, good times. Just basic, simple plots that don't break your brain, but entertain you, you know, for an hour and a bit. And that's kind of what we got here. Like, we got the utility player movie, the movie that's gonna get the job done, even though it's not necessarily going to haunt your nightmares for the next several years. You know, it's pretty straightforward. But I enjoyed it. I think it's one of those things that, especially if you're a budding filmmaker, you're going to want to watch this and really see how everything came together and what you can do on a very, very limited budget. Because again, the actors got paid, the crew got paid, regular day rates. That's a big, big, big deal on an independent production. And so, yeah, I mean, it's worth checking out just to see what a competent and clever person can do with it, with a tiny little budget. Because, I mean, on the surface, it looks like a closer to $100K budget. You know, it looks like it's a much more expensive movie. If you saw this movie, do leave a comment though. I want to know if you love it, if you hate it. Be as generous or as brutal as you want in the comments. I will not edit you out unless you're just like pointlessly insulting. And that's not cool. I mean, unless you're insulting to me, in which place I'll probably give you a heart or something. I don't know. And if you're a true found footage lover, check out the rest of the channel. I do one of these reviews every week. I'm trying to do more than one a week, but it's pretty tough. You know, I'm working myself half to death out there these days. But yeah, do check out the channel. Lots there and lots more to come. Next week, I've got another one. I've got a list of like 5 movies, all of which I want to cover all at once. If only there was time. You know, I'm going to see if I can do more than one in a week. It's the only way I'm going to catch up with my wish list here. Anyway, that's it, you bunch of clowns. See you next time.